All right, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of late start. Kind of a crazy morning here today. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I am juggling Kipster. Sounds good, thank you, Nero. So I have Kip and I have a couple things. Mom has a surgery today, so Melissa's out with her. So I have the boy. We're hoping that he has enough crunchy food and snacks here that he will be behaved. We'll see though. Who knows? Hopefully, I say hopefully, but you guys know how that goes. um, all right. So interesting kind of weekend as far as everything goes. It's kind of like the mass sell off of everything, right? And again, we talked about it during Natick, so I know a lot of you guys watched that as well. But it's interesting to see. Where's the article? Right here. Um, how much kind of control over the world economy China actually has. Not so much like a flex authority, like they're like, oh, we're going to do this. But something as simple as them locking down for another month in Shanghai because they're not seeing the results they want, and then talking about Beijing may also be, um, experiencing what we have with what we had in the United States with Omicron. You got to expect that the same thing's going to happen even with their policies. It's just that contagious of a piece. I mean, it's not like the death rec, the death, the death toll is there, but it will be higher, obviously, just percentage wise because they have so many people. But um, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that um, we can release a million barrels a day from the strategic oil reserve and it does nothing, and then China's like locking down, $8 drop. So you know, um, I hate it when stocks sell off right before my scheduled time to buy. Wait, no, I don't. Nero. I thought that was gold and silver, Nero. You should be really, really excited, right? Isn't this again, don't you love silver down here at 23? Isn't this what you were waiting for? Isn't this your fault? I feel like it's your fault, right? Because isn't this like isn't it, first of the month is when you buy more gold and silver? Isn't that your thing? I hope it's not like the 15th. That too, and yes, it's my fault. Yep, yep, totally your fault. Um, but interesting enough, I mean, the VIX was obviously just going insane, and then today we, maintaining and pulling back a little bit. Um, there has been, movement in Ukraine, not necessarily the best of movement, right? But um, I mean, I don't know. The reality of everything is, you know, there's no peace. Putin's like, yeah, you don't want peace, fine. You keep changing the deal, fine. We won't work. That he had legitimate concerns about peace after some of the early losses, and now it's kind of like, you know what? You're just going to keep messing around with us. Great. And then the indices are obviously not happy about the VIX being higher and the dollar higher and the commodity sell-off. Again, natural gas looks like it's now about to roll as well and continue lower as well. So yeah, it looks like it's pushing down. So interesting spot. So anyway, 11 o'clock today is excuse me. 11 o'clock is obviously going to be the big kind of the biggie today. Um, I think that's kind of the the main thing that we're looking for. Um, besides that, there's really not much else out there. I'm trying to think if there's anything planned for later today. Oh, buddy, you got stuff everywhere here. Put it in your mouth. Go, go there. Um, yeah, it's not really much. It's just kind of an odd Monday with lack of any headlines 2 weeks in a row. So we'll see. Tomorrow morning, we do have some of the durable goods. Remember, Bernard was like, "Oh, but it's great. It's the core that matters. The core was definitely lower." Well, the forecast is they're both going to go up again. Um, I don't know. Question is, could they be a miss? Could they miss and be on the negative again, or not quite as bad as with their where no, maybe they're not as um, the adjustments weren't as bad last time. That could be interesting. So I think tomorrow morning, because there's been lack of any real news, I think although this is considered a medium tomorrow morning early, I think that could be. Oh, buddy, stop. I think it could be. Oh, stop! You're getting stuff everywhere. I think that could be a decent mover tomorrow morning, particularly with what we see in the dollar in the next 24 hours. So keep an eye on that. As far as movements go, obviously, the yen is weak. The yen is weak, yet even versus the dollar. Even it has the dollar yen down right now. But euro yen, Aussie yen, pound yen. I mean, you can see pound yen just getting slaughtered, and it's really not. I really wouldn't say it's UK based data, right? I mean, you're seeing pound dollar down, sure, but it should move more than euro dollar. It's 8. There's not really that big of a difference, and it's kind of it's kind of retracing right now, kind of leveling itself out with the euro pound. But down 206, you're like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, that's just here, here's this piece. Um, Again, it's just they're pumping stimulus into Japan right now, and yeah, not even raising interest rates. They're sending everybody a check, and that should raise inflation, and it's not making the currency any weaker. It's actually bringing strength to it. So kind of interesting how that's working out. And again, some of that may be China locking down. It's kind of like, oh, Japan's not done. So yeah. And the reason why this strength is coming back in, just in case you guys are curious, even with the sending of checks, with China locking down, if it does go to Beijing, that will hurt exports for China. They won't be as competitive. Well, Japan just happens to be right there, and Japan is also a very export-based nation, so it absolutely helps them out as well. So it's kind of a big positive for Japan, not positive for like the world or anything like that, but it is positive for them. So again, that's why we're seeing it, but it just shows you how fragile of a an environment that is over there in Japan. Um, all right. Besides that, like I said, well, let's just jump into charts and just kind of get into it. As I said, it's kind of a kind of a mixed day right now with busyness. So here's kind of what we saw, and again, it was a gradual decline from late Thursday. This is where we kind of had our Sunday kind of gap slash pullback, right? If you look at it, let's see here cross, where is it, right there. Okay, I wouldn't say that this is really much of a Sunday gap. It kind of opened and closed right where you would expect it. It was kind of pulling back into a zone, so again there was a level that you could have taken a gap into, and it's not really a gap, it's kind of more just of a pullback area. And we had the continuation lower. Now we had originally projected this to go lower. We had talked about a Harry Potter trade in there. And again, you could have tried to take that on Sunday. Again, you were looking for a base and a pullback. Well, there was your base. It just came in a little bit lower because of the weekend. And then again, that's where you would have kind of continued this thing. This is the second one. And again, we were talking about a break with a pullback. It's forming the base now. And again, I'm good with this base here. I think that's the base that we use. Buddy, I need stop. Stop. What are you doing? You can't eat the microphone. The kid's trying to eat everything. We so for the boy's birthday, it's been like trying to plan everything. It's been kind of a pain in the butt, but we took him to Iron Age, which is like it's a Korean barbecue, but kind of like I don't know, like if you mixed I don't know, like like a Ruby Tuesdays, or like those places where like when it's somebody's birthday, like all the servers run through the aisles, right, with cakes. That's kind of what it is. It's a K-pop version of that. Um, this kid ate everything that wasn't not down yesterday. He was eating noodles. I didn't give him any kimchi, but he was having pork belly. I'm like, he's like 6 months and eating everything that's not down. It's kind of crazy. So, um, but anyway, I'm okay with this basing level here. I think if we drop and use that as the next short, we already had one drawn here. We were waiting for kind of the base on it. I think that's the base that we use, looking for the break and then the kind of the retracement back again. So overall targets for me on this one are down to the 70, 30, 38. I think with the rumblings that Beijing could lock down. I don't think that they're magic and be like, you know what, we figured this Omicron thing out. We're safe now. It's okay. We're not going to lock down Beijing. I kind of think that it's going to be the inevitable. They're talking about, well, we haven't done it yet, and we're hoping that we don't have to do it. But I think it's coming. I think it's coming. So here. Oh, God bless you. Here. And I think that's the kind of the next shoe to drop. Remember also, the Central Bank of Australia was basically like, yeah, we could do like a point 0.4 raise. And point 0.4 is kind of a weaker tone, and that's kind of what set this off originally. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I would love to say that, buy Aussie, it's great, but with gold being down, China being down, um, again, none of these are positive factors really for the Aussie. And we were hoping last week that the European Union was going to, they were making comments that they were going to use Australia and buy resources from them instead of Russia. But that's kind of fallen to the wayside. We haven't really heard too much more about that. But I need this hand. Can I use this hand? Can you hold your own bottle? No? Okay. Thanks for helping. All right. So here's the LCN. Okay. LCN, we had targets that we were talking about. Whoops. Where are you going? Oh, you want to watch again? We were talking about targets down at 92.50, and you can see we sliced through it right at the end of the week. So again, not necessarily something that you're looking to. Actually, I guess it was late last night. We sliced through it from the targets from last week. We did kind of get a basing and a pullback. Again, we talked about not really having any major levels until we got much, much lower. We had a couple areas, and right now, one of them that we had marked off last week, and we talked about it and said, listen, there's an area here. There's a nice little kind of pullback, a one candle bottom, nice push off of it. That's kind of where price is at right now. As far as being an area where this is going to turn, it's not really a turner. It did kind of bounce off of it once, and now we're driving through. It could potentially be used for, a short if you really, really wanted to short this further. I'd show caution with it though, just because I feel like a lot of the movement already has been kind of baked in. I don't know how much more we're going to see without, again, having those kind of like the retracements and the profit taking coming in, as well as it's so close to this level of basing right here. There's just not a ton of room for it to move. So it almost becomes more of an issue with profit target than it does with entry. Entry, I think it's decent. Again, it's already bounced off of it once. It's now pushing through. Ideally, if this was a racetrack here, we'd be looking to take this one short further. But there's been so much yen strength with everything. I think we're looking for a bit more retracement. So I think watch out for it. I like the Aussie yen more right now. I'm sorry, I like the Aussie dollar short more than I like the Aussie. Sorry about that. He pulled the microphone out. He's at the grabby stage where I'm gonna grab everything I can. Yep. Stop, buddy. Um, you want to set up or not set up? I don't know what you want to do. Here's your cookie. Eat your cookie. Um, so of the two, again, I'm just afraid that yes, yeah, yeah, the lights are moving. There would be our 1 to 3, and if you see that, it's kind of it's pushing these buyers down here. So, uh, not ideal. I like the Aussie dollar more, but Aussie yen is probably still there for a little bit more weakness. Now, euro pound, we'll retrace this one all the way over. Where are we at here? All right, so we did bounce off of a level, and we mentioned this level before. It was an old level, right? It was an old level, and we saw some basing off of it. It really should be adjusted a little bit. We were doing it off of that candle, but we've hit it in the past, and again, there was the base there. If you go all the way across, it was a level we were looking for more for kind of a Sunday night thing, and it did. It hit late last night and kind of pushed all the way back down again, and then drove back up in the European session. Europeans kind of were the reason for the turnaround in it. I think at this point, I mean, again, we know we're clear, probably down till at least this level. I think playing the retracement lower is there. Again, it would have been the feather to go higher that you were looking for here, and it's only got about another 23 pips. But again, the original trade setup should have been here. It was super late, about 11 o'clock last night. Right now, I would look for this to come back down again, and if we can break through, we have a Harry Potter from last week, which again we didn't. It didn't get blown up in the overnight. I think 83.73 is kind of what we're looking for. All right. All right, that's good. The noise canceling seems like it's. I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop talking and see if the monitor shows me, but it looks like it's blocking him out. Buddy, it thinks your background noise. Here, you want this? He's so tired. He just needs to close his eyes and he's gonna be asleep, and then it'll be easier to do the rest of the chart school. So, but anyway, yeah, bearish this position. Again, weak euro, pound strong is what I'm looking for, just to kind of come back to an equilibrium point at this point. Um, Euro yen. You can see euro yen is continuing to drop. Again, this was a pretty, this was an alert that it says it wasn't triggered, but it should have been triggered. Anyway, there was the position. Again, we had our 3 and our 4 from last week. There was our basing that we were looking for, really. And once we had the basing in here, that was a sign that, hey, listen, if it breaks through, we take it. Again, it's done now. It's already out. And like I said, remember on three, hit number 4 is we're looking for the retracement. Once it comes in, especially over the weekend, and does like a base in here, and it doesn't go any higher, that's where you pull the trigger on this one to go low. You could even done it of the break of this right here at 138.23 on the bottom of the break. And you can see it did not stop it out from the top side from the original draw. So I think this one still comes down. Looking at kind of You're being all grumpy, but you can't even keep your eyes open. He's gonna be asleep in 45 seconds. He's grumbling with his eyes closed. So he's already asleep. He just his body doesn't know it yet. Um, shh. It's so funny. His eyes are closed and he's like, It's like, buddy, you're already passed out. You're full of what is this? Sweet potato and I don't even know. Sweet potato and pumpkin rice cracker. Can't be appetizing, but I guess it fills them up. Anyway, no major buyers here. So I think this one continues to kind of grind down. We do have one small level. It's okay. It's only because it was a pause for this and it kind of came back and retested. But I think right now, as far as this down draw goes, again, you can see the one little area here where this kind of took off, this retracement happened. But after that, it just ground through here so much. I think targets overall in this one downwise is 136.52. I'm sorry, 136.24, and we'll change this to a black. It's a target. With what we're seeing in the euro pound, having that watch, the euro weakness coming in the pound strength. Again, I think 136.24 makes sense to the downside. It's a little bit late right now. If we wanted to draw some fibs and kind of use that level for later, you could draw fibs on this one and say, all right, right now, if this is the bottom, that 138 is the next area. Again, we've already used it once for Harry Potter. That would now be, I mean, it's literally bisecting the middle. That would be a 50% retracement level. Again, same level. We've already used it once, but actually, let's change that. Let's see. That should have been a trigger. Let me check it real quick. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. See, it did trigger. It did trigger. Hold on. Let me do something real quick here. Give me 30 seconds. All right, there we go. Okay, I'll just leave it there. I don't need it again. Now I'm going to draw these on top. Here. Nope, it's this line I want. Now it's a 50%. Sure. All right, there we go. So if that is the bottom, again, now that opens us up. And in fact, this can go even lower. I mean, really, until we get into this. I mean, right now, if we use the 136.24, which I think is a great target, you can see that the 50 is no longer in that 138 level. Now, magically, once we get to there, now the 61.8 is in there. So people using the 50, 61.8, it's now in their wheelhouse. So again, yeah, I think it's a decent level to watch out for, whether we use the bottom here or we use the bottom where we have buyers. I think both of those show us that 138.30 again, it is a good option. Um, euro dollar. Again, euro dollar has put through. We talked about 107.55 being a big level where we had buyers. You can see this one sliced through at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was a low volume kind of push through. And again, it hit here and it based below it again. So it was due. And then it came up and it used that same level. You can see that it pulled it over here. This candle right here came back up to the 107.54. That big black line that we had drawn here, grabbed it and is using it to drop lower. Now, we do know that this is a larger time frame level here at 107.10. And again, it's already bounced off of it one time at 230. After the big spike, it did hit it and kind of bounced around. Question is, can we get new momentum on this one? I don't know if we'll be able to break through this level. It is like a 4-hour, I think it's a 4-hour level. It may be harder to break through today, but that core retail sales tomorrow morning could be what we need to kind of break through. Hold on one second. My wife just messaged me. One sec. She's at the hospital with my mom, so I need to send those. There we go. So I think we may need more. So do I expect a little bit of a retracement? Sure, there'll be some profit taking with the dollar, but I think overall this is a pair that we want to stay bearish with. The problem is we have these two levels, the 107.10 and the 105.58. Again, you may say 107, 105. That's a big area. Yeah, it is. These were 4-hour levels. But there's not really a whole lot of really high quality in there because it's a lot of spikes down into this level. 107 is an interesting number. And the United States will move faster. Once you get into the 107, 106 range, a lot of people start talking about, wow, are we going to get the parity? Are we going to get the parity? Are we going to get the parity? Maybe. I think that this is as good a chance of any. Right now, with what we have going on with, again, still issues with Ukraine, recovery being slowed, gas shortages in Germany, and Powell basically saying, yeah, 0.5 is on the table. Again, I think you meant 0.75 is on the table. Um, Again, this could be the scenario where we finally get back down to parity. Um, do I think that 105 is on the radar in the near future? Yeah, I do. So my opinion on the euro dollar is that this is absolutely short. Anytime we get a pullback, grab it. Right now, you can see that level, right where it came back up to, that 105, 107.54. If you drew it to the new bottom, again, the 23.6 is going to be a popular area, and that's the old level that we were using over here. Again, that was the base, the touch, the base above. So it's a violated zone, but it is a level. And easy enough. Again, I'm sure many of you guys can see this one. This doesn't take any great level of analysis. You can see what this is, right? It's an M, right? It doesn't stand for McDonald's. But you'll see people that are trying to trade this one as a double top, and they're going to take this one. They're going to say, well, wait a second, there's the neckline, right? So when we break the neckline, which is right here, right? There's the neckline. It's going to go here. And that's the other end of this thing. Okay, that's the 107, 107.89 level. So, you know, it's kind of there, right? Again, this is one of those ones that's simple enough and easy enough drawing that you're going to see people looking to get short this one. But again, we got to break below the 230 open this morning. We just need a little bit more dollar oomph. Like if we had news today, it would be great. I don't know, maybe at 11, Macklin says something, but I feel like this is more of a core retail sale. So if we kind of bounce back and forth and do a little basing, maybe we can chip away at this level, and then we got a little bit more room to run. So, overall short the euro dollar today. Pound yen continuing to collapse, and again, funny enough, I talked about this. Last week we were standing right here, guys. And I said, if you really need a trade on Friday, right? I was like, if you really need a trade on Friday, we are at a level where we have buyers. They are confirmed. It is 10:30. This is where it's going to reverse. And Uncle Warren was watching. Um, there's our 10:30 right here. There's our 10:30, and that's when we made the comment. We're like, yeah, it's like 10:15. I'm like, this would be the level to look for the reversal. Well, guess what? 11 o'clock, it took off from that level, went all the way back up, grabbed the profit target right to 50%. It wasn't a 50 before. Actually, it was, yeah, because we had talked about coming down to this level. It was a level we had marked off. We literally hit it, bounced through, came through, and then again, we finally, touch number 1 was here, touch number 2, touch number 3, kind of tagged it a 4th time, and then blew through a base, a pullback to that same violated zone after 4 hits, and a Harry Potter continuation to the downside. So, yeah, if you were watching it, if you were trading this morning early on, and again, this was super early, about 1:30 in the morning. I wasn't. I didn't have this trade on. Obviously, I was asleep. I actually went to sleep before this actually broke through. Yeah, easy Harry Potter, right? Drop, base, pull back, go to a violated zone. The zone had been hit 4 times. You're looking for it to switch, and it did, and it went down. So where does this one stop? So we had a small level here that we mentioned. Hey, listen, this is a decent level. It may be a time now. Again, it is 10 o'clock. Again, this is where those reversals come in. There's a lot of momentum with this one. And again, the level was okay. It spent about 8 candles there, which is a lot for a base. It's pushed it to the brink. I'm curious to see if we start to slow down and base in here now. If we don't reverse off of this one, could this be another Harry Potter? And again, we do have room to the downside. I can remove this. Really, this is the next level of profit taking coming in. So I'm not really concerned about anything. So I'm wondering if again, I'm liking that this is a green candle right now. It was originally, we were talking about a pop through. I kind of like to see what it does. If it bases, I'm looking short. If it does come up a little bit, now all of a sudden I'm waiting for a pullback to go higher. So if it does rally up to here, then I'm looking for kind of a pullback and a long, right? If it does this where it just kind of meanders sideways and just kind of bases here, then I'm looking for the opposite. I'm looking for it to pull down, and I'm looking for the pull up, and then I'm looking for the short. Okay, so I think either direction of this will work. Like I said, I think there'll be some yen profit taking come in, but you can see if we get the confirmation low, we're good. We got plenty of room. Confirmation high, again, same thing for the long position. I'll just stick it here to here. Make it short. 1 to 3 is only right there. Right? So both of them are pretty decent. I think either one of them could work. We just need a confirmation, and it's about 50 pips up, 50 pips down. So question is getting in for the confirmation during this time frame, right? We need the confirmation high or low. That's what I'm looking for in this one. Like I said, easy 50 pips in both directions, but hopefully you guys grab this one because this was a heck of a runner. Again, if you're awake, it's 163 pips. Gotta love when you wake up to that and you see it and you're like, oh Jesus. Even if you woke up at 3 o'clock to trade it, you already missed the big move. So, yep. All right, there we go. So we were looking for a break of 129 last week. We didn't get it. Again, it just continued to deteriorate. Had a few different levels here, and it's funny. You see all the basing? Look at all the basing right there at 28.48. So that one is out. We can remove that to clean this up, right? This was the next big level that we marked off, the 128.06. And again, it came down and it based on it and then dropped. So that'll be a level that we kind of mark off. I like that level for the future, right? But we can take it off now, right? Got to move our fibs. Nope, didn't want to do that. I just want to move the end right there. So right now you can see from where that bottom is, the 23.6 just happened to come down, right? Actually, you know what I should do? Normally this is continuation, so let's go to, there we go. Let's change this to red. Yeah, change that to red. We're going to change this to blue. Background is fine. Trend line. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. Now we can see it. Much better. So you can see it brought the 23.6 right down into that level. I think we watch out for that one. If we get a bit of retracement today, which we should, right? We absolutely should. Keep that on your radar here. Whoops, that's going to be a red and a white. I still like this one up top. I'm going to leave that there. Again, I like that base. And funny enough, that just happens to be the 50% now, right? So again, people using the 50 to 61, we could actually play that to the top side. So funny how when we brought that down, it moved the 23.6 into an area as well as the 50 into an area. And now the 6.18 is floating. So not necessarily as big of a deal. Overall, though, where this one could actually go down to. So let's see. 4 hour, 127. So these are the buyers right now. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably those guys. And then we got a nice little drop to the downside. This is really the better one down here, but a case could be made about this as well. Let's do a horizontal line there. All right, let's drag these across. There and there. So gives you an idea where this one could go. You know, maybe we get the pullback, maybe we don't. Again, you can see that the big thing at 1 o'clock this morning, the kind of the takeoff point on this one. Again, asleep on this one, but that was 324 pips. Right? It's a lot. That is a lot. Man, where'd that go from? Yeah, 130 all the way down to 127. That's a huge move. Right? Big move. And it's 101 compared to where it was yesterday, it says. But again, Friday misses that one up. So, big mover. It's a big move. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on that one. Like I said, I think the two potential reversals on this one, which we are due for reversal. I'm going to mark it here. Mark it there. 126.75 and 124.66. Okay. So I do think we get a reversal on one of these two. Dollar CAD. All right, so this is the scenario we drew last week. Again, we know in 1 hour from now, Macklin is speaking, right? At 11 o'clock today. Yeah, Macklin speaking right there. It's testimony, so it should kind of limp in. Overall, I think this gives us the ability to get us again some hawkish data. This was much higher earlier. It's only at 49 right now, so it is starting to slow down a little bit. It is an area where we have had sellers in the past. It has been confirmed one time. It's not an extreme range on that one. It is in the top 30% of the curve. So again, we're thinking bearish. We're thinking confirm area of sellers over here. It is a news event. It is a news event where they're going to have testimony about, hey, listen, inflation's getting out of control. What's your plan, dude? So again, with it, the U.S. dollar rising up in all the overnight, it is kind of set up on a lot of factors. So this is kind of where you'd start looking at, some call spreads and things like that. Let me see real quick. I'll pull up another monitor. I only have one hand, so it's kind of hard to move things around right now. But again, I'm not. You guys know I'm not a huge fan though of the um, a lot of the. What was I going to say? A lot of the Canadian products because the spreads are so wide on them. They've gotten. I don't know. I guess they've gotten a little bit better, right? But they used to be just insane. Let's see. Trying to look for. Wait, that's why I'm like, why is this not working for me? It's because. All right, let's see here. Fortunately, there's no weekly call spreads on it. I was hoping we were going to snag the top of that, but there is not. 27. There's too much risk in that one. Let's see if there's any knockouts on it. Um, let's see. There is a knockout, but it is such close proximity right now. Ugh, it's risky. Risky, risky, risky. There is a call spread on it. It's got a knockout. It's got $11 worth of risk on it, but it is. And we're like right up to it. It is. Which one did I touch? Yeah, it's the 2771 contract. So we're like literally about to break it. There is one a little bit above. How much risk is in that one? That's about $24. That one's not horrible. There's a knockout with $24 worth of risk in it. 76 profit on could be earned on the downside. I'd like to get a little bit cheaper than that, but that's not a horrible one. I just feel like that other one, it's literally going to break out any second right now. Even if he's got an hour to speak, so there's no news for an hour. I doubt it's gonna. I mean, if you want to get in with 1 pip worth of buffer on it, it's a little risky. Where the other one's got a little bit more. It's the 2791. Um, so it's sitting 2791 is right there. So a little bit deeper in the zone versus the 2771, which is right there. We're within like a pip of it. So, I mean, if you want to scalp it like that, then go for it. It's close, right? It's not. It's $11 worth of risk, but I'm pretty sure that that's $11 worth of a kind of like a fool's errand at this point. Yeah, it's $11 risk. It's not going to go any lower than that. So, I just think it's close. A little bit of a buffer isn't bad. But yeah, the 2791 is probably pretty decent on that one. I was hoping to match a weekly. I don't know. Maybe let me see if there's a cheap daily. I didn't even look at the dailies. Like I said, I don't like Dollar Cat as much for standard things. No, not even close. Nope, nothing on those. Yeah, I didn't think so. 7 p.m. to 3. And there's a $12 risk call spread. I don't know if what Macklin's going to say is going to be that crazy. But there is a call spread, I guess. There's a daily call spread. Got 5 hours left on it. Getting $12 risk, so you're gonna have to move a bit on it. Let me see binaries real quick. Uh, yeah, basically, Carol, risk on, risk off is typically if you think the markets are going to go up and they're like positive numbers, right? By positive numbers, I mean like price going higher, it's risk on. So you put things into risky assets. Stocks are considered risky, bonds are considered safe. So when you see a risk on environment, you tend to see money come out of bonds and go into riskier assets, commodity stocks, cryptos, things like that. When it's an area where you're really, really concerned about markets crashing and risk, you go back to a flight to safety, which tends to be bonds. In a rising interest rate environment, bonds is not really great there. But right now, you know, managers are putting money in cash because if you have your money in cash, you can't lose it. Can't make anything, but when the markets are going down, traditional investments don't make money anyway. So, let me see. Let me see. Let's do weekly. Let's see. What would it cost me? 126. It's kind of much. 25. See a daily. 127.10. Interesting. There's a 127.10. $13 risk. 127.10 is there. It's an 11 p.m.er, so there's a lot of stuff that can happen from now till then. Um, Again, it's $13 risk, I think. Can I put anything else in there? Text visibility. No, I can't. I would have put a note in there. I guess I can use one of these other ones, right? Price note. Let me see. Do I have text? Yeah. What did I say? $13 risk. I'm curious to track this one. Actually, it's 13.75 as I wrote it. Let's track it for later. Yeah, we'll leave that there. All right. So yeah, what scale is kind of weird. There we go. 127.10. It's an interesting one. Again, it's at 11 p.m. But you know what? I should probably do that. Let me write that in there too. All right, 11 p.m. would be. I'm on a 4 hour. Hold on, let me go back down to a 30-minute. Let's see, 11. 2, 3. Right there. All right, we'll see how that one comes out. Like I said, it's just so close. Watch it hit here and blow all the way through, all the way down here. I'll be so pissed. Anyway, a lot of extra analysis on the CAD, but like I said, Macklin speaking today. We haven't heard too much about what their interest rates are going to look like, and I think, with everything going on with CAD, their numbers have been blowing it out of the water. I think they're going to have to mention something about what that looks like, particularly because with energy prices as high as they are, again, they're kind of hiding under the radar for this one. Let's change this low. Here we go. All right, dollar Swiss. Yeah, last week we talked about dollar Swiss being up in this level. We kind of breached it, and it's really just going sideways. Dollar Swiss, you can see in 24 hours has moved 2 pips. It's really kind of the flat one in the market. I would say still look for a break of this level here. But right now, trend wise, again, we kind of came up and it just shot through. I mean, this was the late last week thing. I'm going to remove it just to kind of, we know that it was a larger level, but it's obviously not holding. Just to kind of get a read on where we're at with it. Again, if you want to take the last, kind of, you know, obviously low to high, you can see that Reality is even the 23.6 isn't holding. The 50 though is definitely right around that level, the 95.24. So I think it's a level we got to watch out for. You know, obviously today could it reverse off of it? Sure, it could still be a long. I like how it based. I like how it came pretty deep, about about 60, 70% of the way through. I think it's probably a long one more time, but then when it breaks, then I'm looking for kind of the next drop in the hat on that one. So um, right now, if I'm going to bracket this, I'm going to basically put a bracket up top here. Colors off a little bit. There we go. I'd bracket it there. I don't really. I mean, none of these down here are a big deal for me. 95 is a big number though, so I would say that that's probably the base here is probably what we need to watch out for, right? Probably just because of the psychological nature of 95. So, parity is 0. I'm sorry, 1. Parity, Carol, is when you can basically give them one of our dollars and get one of and get one of their dollars back again. It doesn't really happen often. There are not many things out there at parity, right? Dollar Swiss gets to parity sometimes. Like if you look at, if you draw this here, right, and then go to like a monthly, you can see that there's many times here on a monthly basis that it's around parity. We basically take one US dollar and trade it with one US Swiss and one Swiss franc, right? The funny thing about this, and probably the smartest guy that I know, so he, it used to be that you used to get $1 used to get you 100 and or 1.6 Swiss, right? Meaning the Swiss was much weaker than the dollar, right? In the 70s, and actually it used to be worse. In the 70s, he bought himself life insurance policies with Swiss in Swiss dollars. His life insurance policies are with the Swiss franc, right? Because he was like, oh, listen, it's always going to be a neutral country. I see it, into the future with that neutrality with things. He saw the strength Swiss, strengthening. So he paid for it. He switched over. He got francs. He paid for all his contracts up front in Swiss francs. Now that the Swiss is more on an even par with the dollar, remember he bought it before when the Swiss was weak. Now the Swiss is strong. If he dies, his life insurance pays out in Swiss francs, which is tons stronger than it used to be, right? So his original policies were like 2 or 3 million. Now, based off of whatever it is, just for and again, I don't remember the exact numbers on it. His life insurance policies are like 10, $15 million now. He's like, yeah, my next 8 generations are taken care of now because he bought his life insurance policies in the 70s when the Swiss was like crazy, and now that it's basically even. So that's next level genius right there. This is a guy that, again, I get so lost when he talks. I can follow about the first 15 minutes, and then it goes so deep and I'm just amazed. I'm like, holy crap, who thinks of things like that, right? Um, but just genius, genius. Like, how do you? I mean, you're thinking about currency hedges, and then he does his life insurance spot. It's like, holy crap, genius, genius, right? Unbelievable. But anyway, again, I would look for this one. I think if we have a break here, that's what we're looking to do short. Okay, there you go. And by the way, that guy absolutely hates gold. He said it's the worst investment anybody could ever get into. That it hasn't changed. This is the guy that my knowledge from gold comes from. This guy, and he quotes the studies that talk about how gold has not changed value since the Roman times. That people see it go up and like, oh, it's a great hedge for inflation. He's like, no. And he's the one that told me, he's like, listen, he's like, here's the article, you can read it, there's research into it, I've done it. Talking about how if you take, thankfully the Romans had good records. If you take what a captain in the Roman military got paid and compare it to what a captain in the U.S. Army gets paid, equivalent with kind of two dynasties of their time, with a same position military ranking with what their salary is, it's exactly the same. So people are like, oh, gold's a hedge for inflation. He's like, gold hasn't changed value. What you could buy, the amount of gold you could buy back then versus the amount you could buy right now is basically the equivalent because of inflation. That it has not really hedged anything. It's exactly the same. So the investment has not yielded anything in, you know, hundreds of years. And you listen to this guy speak, you're like, wow. The guy, guy's forgotten more in his life than I've ever learned. It's unbelievable. All right, also yen. I'm sorry, dollar yen. Dollar yen. We talked about this last week. Again, I've removed it in the Nadex presentation, but the 618 level, we got what three hits. I mean, actually four. One, two, three, four. Five is what broke, and then it started to retest and kind of mess around with the 71.8. I don't care about the 71.8, so we can remove it right now. Really big levels from the initial draw on this one. Obviously, the 23.6 provided a bunch of kind of maneuvering back and forth, but after that, we had this level of basing kind of right in here. Again, we've bounced it, bounced it, bounced it, bounced it. Now we've gone deep, and now we're basing in it. I'm kind of looking for this one to get short at this point. I think, is this where we go short? 1 to 3 is only right there. You can see that, yeah, there's some sellers coming into the market right here, but that's at the bottom of 1 to 3. So, who were you talking about just now? A guy named John O'Donnell, the guy who told me about it, John O'Donnell. Yeah, probably. As far as like economic people or like guys that are like into like world history of economics, I mean, he's unbelievable. And he's one of those guys like he's kind of too smart for his own good, right? But just some of the thing like and it's not even like this is how smart I am. It's like there are a lot of people out there that are experts that have like 12 degrees and like, well, I write articles and I'm part of a think tank. Writing an article and being, speaking about things in a hypothetical nature versus what this guy did back in the 70s and earlier than that is like unbelievable. But he's not a guy that like touts it. Like, I mean, even like Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett's made just ungodly amounts of money, right? I mean, people don't fully understand the amount of money that he has made and how he's actually made it. They're kind of typically wrong in what, like, if you ask people, how did Warren make all his money? Like, it's not the way that people actually thought it was. But he's got a ton and he's got a lot of influence. And again, he was in a system where with a lot of money you can kind of manipulate things. But a guy like this, in the 70s, nobody even knew what the heck forex was, right? Looking back that far, 70s and 80s, and looking where the globe was and understanding the forex market, and it's like, okay, well, going into the future, what do I think is going to happen? Predicting things out 30 years, and again, in the third, back then when the dollar was like so strong, it's like, listen, I can buy so much other foreign currency, go over there, get my life insurance policy over there because I need life insurance back in the 70s, right? 70s and 80s, you're like, yeah, I need life insurance. I have little kids and making up your income and then being able to say, well, listen, when I'm at the stage where I'm dying, the dollar should be a whole heck of a lot weaker. It's like unbelievable, right? So yeah, just insane when people, you think of things at that level. I mean, he's one of those guys that's like, man, if there was a guy that, he would be it, you know? Um, and like I said, I've had numerous conversations with the guy where you ask him his opinions on things, and I can follow for about 15 minutes. Like I can make it more than a lot of the people that we, in the round tables that we would have. I would make it longer than the majority of the people, but eventually it would lose me too. And I was like, wow, this is so far above my head at this point. Like I was following you until you said this, and now I'm lost. Um, it's just amazing. It's just yeah, his knowledge is just baffling. And like the sources he reads and continues to read, even though he doesn't need to, right? I mean, he's retired at this point. Just remarkable. Um, Kind of a dry speaker, but he's not the driest guy. But anyway, I'd be looking for this to come back down. I think 126.63 is our overall target. Like I said, love the fact that this kind of broke through. I love that. We'll see if we get the basing in here. Um, Looks like somewhere around here, if people are doing kind of a high to low draw. All right, so I loved it on the big chart, but now maybe it's too much. There we go. We're getting close to that 23.6. So people that fib traders that are purely using currency traders that are purely using fibs with nothing else, they're going to use that. Is there buyers there? Yeah, probably some of the old buyers that violated, but the zone is much lower. The touches here, touches here, touches here. So I think really, for me, I think it's not a call out. Nope, it is actually that call out was pretty cool though. I think 127.60 is kind of where I'd be looking for this one. I'd like to see a pullback to that level, but I'd be willing to take a short below 127 just with some continued edge strength. So it's decent. Like I said, racetrack wise over here, I like it. I like it. Obviously, a little buyer right here, but that may be what it does. It may come down, find these buyers, pull up, and then again use that level. So I don't know. There's where the base is. Like I said, we'll see if the 23.6ers come in and really start driving this down. If it comes back down and starts the base here, then yeah, we'll get some help from the fib traders. So let's go across to oil. So oil just getting hammered, and again, there's been some pullback in oil. I gotta just kip. I can't feel my left hand. Again, we drew this last week. If I continue this across, right? That's what it looks like. It's kind of gone through the bottom. It's just kind of accelerated. So it's kind of like we went to here, right? And now we've accelerated a little bit lower. Overall, though, I would say it's probably the same trajectory. It's a little bit smaller, right? Parallel channel. I mean, right now we're kind of staying within this range, right? So it's still following. It just kind of it rode the bottom and then popped out and is continuing lower. Here's the Harry Potter trade we looked at last year. It based and it pulled back, but again, whether we used it or not, the base actually came a little bit above, and then when it broke, it gave us a base and a pullback, which again you could have taken the short either way. So again, China locking down is an absolutely major reason to stay short this one. I don't see any reason right now. I was curious to see if there was going to be an initial pullback when the market opened today. It looks like there was a little bit. The 930 candle is the green one that kind of tried to pop higher, but the reality is there's no fundamentals that support it. If you think about it right now, and again, this this just goes to show you that Biden's advisors also have blinders on, right? Um, they were, looking to see what China was doing with locking things down with Omicron. They didn't really forecast that. Oh my God, this is Omicron. It could spread to other people, right? I mean, it happened here, but yet they started releasing things from the Strategic Oil Reserve, a million barrels a day, and then China continues its lockdown, and then China locking down has dropped oil $10. So I don't know. Do we really need the Strategic Oil Reserve to be dropped? Did it really do anything? I mean, gas prices are still over $4, right? So, yeah, I just feel like again, how I don't know. I feel like his advisors are not giving him the right information. And again, is it his fault? Like, is Biden making the determination to do that? No. Is the Democratic Party saying, "Hey, listen, we need votes. You need to do this"? Probably. I mean, are his advisors looking for? I mean, again, remember, your advisors should be forward-looking, right? I feel like his original policy did nothing, right? It actually continued to drive up. China has problems. They lock down. Oh God, it pulls back, and then oh God, we got to lock down for another month, and that's what tanks it. So now we have China locked down with lower demand, and we have the Strategic Oil Reserve being released every day. Um, OPEC's going to look at this and be like, wait a second. Since last week, we went from 109 all the way down to 195. Right? They're going to be like, in 1 week, OPEC, their mandate is to provide price stability. Would this be price stability? Not so much, right? And again, all this is based off of China, right? China's coming out of the lockdown, and again, Strategic Oil Reserve. Oh shit, China's gonna lock down. So anyway, right now I'd say, yeah, it looks like today we're gonna stay negative with oil. We will find buyers. Um, when we drew the original fib on this one, we knew we didn't have anything. It wasn't really a great zone down south. It is quite wide, but we know we have some stabilization of buyers coming in, and this is coming in at $94. Right? I mean, holy crap, we get down to $94. I would say that that's our downward side target right now. 94.07. You know, we're all too impatient. There's no overnight fix. Nah, Ernest, there's not an overnight fix, but it's kind of one of those things. Do you play it reactionary or do you play it do you prepare for it or do you play reaction after the fact? Um, I feel like with this stuff, it's always better to be prepared versus being reactionary, right? Um, we got in the situation we did because we waited for things to happen, right? Everybody loved the free money, and inflation rose for the last 2 years. We were on the channel talking about it a year ago, right? About how this transitory thing is the dumbest thing anybody could ever say, and now we're at 40 years high, and they let it happen. Had they not let it happen, a lot of this would have been a lot under. We wouldn't be having the same question, same concerns right now, right? Had they, you know, again, free money was too addicting, right? Um, yeah, and yet senators can still buy stocks. So that was a short lived. Oh, you know what? Maybe senators shouldn't buy stock. And then Nancy Pelosi's like, my husband and me both have huge portfolios. Remember Romney was bad because he was a stock market guy. Go look at Nancy's portfolio. It's bigger than Romney, but magically they're still able to do it. So again, insider trading by senators, and it's where's AOC on the battle for that one, right? So I just feel bad for Bernie. Natural gas. Well, there was our call from natural gas last week. We were talking about, hey, listen, we get another break. Look at that. We got the bounce in there again. The base, the bounce. We were talking about the pullback, and again, the base came in a little bit higher over the weekend. Drop came all the way down. Tagged the target at 630. Now we're back up again. So, I think natural gas is an interesting spot. Again, natural gas is up 2%. You may say, how the heck is this up? I talked about this at Nadex. China doesn't really use natural gas. I mean, they do. They're a large producer, but as far as what their energy is, it's very, very small. They have a quote strategic reserve as well. There was based off of the amount that they actually use versus what their verified natural gas is. They got 22 years of it. So, as well as their closest ally and buddy, Russia, China is like, we don't really need to do much with our natural gas because you know what? When everybody doesn't want their natural gas, we'll just take it all. So again, China's natural gas is not really, affected by China locking down. So again, that's why it's up 187. It is still pretty low, down at 665. Did it get a little bit out of hand? Sure. Again, like I said, I think this is all pulling back. I think again, I don't think Putin has really much that he can do besides just turn the spigot off. But right now he doesn't want to turn it off because he's making mad amounts of money. So you know, it's kind of funny. As high as prices are, at this point we've done nothing but weaken the dollar. Globally, right? It will not be the strategic. It will not be the reserve currency of the world in my lifetime. I'm sure it will be given up soon. When I say soon, I mean maybe 5, 10 years, but it will be removed. At this point, it's guaranteed. Um, lots of money's been wasted on weapons, and poor Ukraine. It's just the battle is literally the chessboard, for lack of any better word. So, I think natural gas has the ability to spike at least one more time. But I'm hoping it comes down. 8 was insane. I don't think it was justified to be at 8. Um, I think in anticipation for Putin turn it off, but right now it's kind of like, oh, we're not blocking it yet. Okay, like Putin wants to stabilize it a little bit as well because this is a big drop. So I think it's justified to be back down here. Again, if we can start to roll again, I'm kind of wondering right now. Again, using this old kind of level here. Oops, right there. Let's pull that back a little bit. Looking at this top in here, I'm looking. I'm wondering if this is our next area to go short. Right? Maybe take shorts at $7. It's actually 7007, 701 ish level. Right? Nice top base here. Nice base. Nice strong push. Um, I'm thinking that's the next short area is going to be around $7. I don't know when we're going to hit it, but I mean, it's only a day away. So again, we continue to push forward. That's kind of what it looks like, and it makes sense, right? Go back up, find the space, pull back down, right to where the spacing level is. I mean, yeah, it kind of is neuro. I mean, understand. Look at the bull run that we're in right now, right? How many years have we been in the bull run? How over again? I'm an averages guy, right? I firmly believe in statistics. Um, I believe in the law of averages, right? What is the average bull, right? The average bull cycle, and we are so far beyond past it. We are an outlier, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? I mean, inflation at this point, it's kind of the same thing, right? It, it, look at the housing bubble, right? Whose fault was the housing bubble, right? It was greed, but at the end of the day, it was the people, right? The people were the ones that were willing to pay more, even though they knew it was bad investments because it was going to double or make $20,000 to $30,000 in a few weeks, right? We you know we weren't forced to buy those homes at those prices, right? It was greed that took over, right? Inflation's the same way. Let's put hey, listen, the government's in this for the people. So what do? We start sending stimulus checks out all the time, right? Who got rich from all all the stimulus, right? Where did it go to? What did all the checks, like knowing that we were sending money out the checks, we knew inflation was going to go higher. When you start printing money left and right, sending it to everybody, they're all going to spend it. And when you got extra money to spend, it leads to inflation, but they did nothing to stop it. So yeah, it's cyclical, but at the same time, yeah, it's normal. It did exactly what it should have done, right? It did jack inflation, but then we did nothing. We were reactionary to it. So, gold. I hope you guys are short gold. I really don't. I mean, I can't. Nothing really I can say on this one. I like that this could be a potential near-term bottom at 1894. It pulls back up to 1915 right now. It's sitting at the 23. We'll get more people coming in. There obviously is a level of basing up there, so it's definitely a level to watch out for. And again, it's kind of a level on top of a level. You could use either one of these. I think both of them are decent. Like I said, any excuse for this thing to pop, I would absolutely be shorting the heck out of gold. With the interest rates rising, with everything else we're seeing out there, it just again, I've been screaming this one. And again, we came all the way back, and I talked about how 2000 was such a huge number. Look for it to get close, and then again, we got. I mean, we missed it by like less than $2, um, and it's been a huge push down. And again, this is why options is kind of close. I love it. It's presented as something that just happened. That's clearly not the case. It's not. I mean, honestly, you know, it I wish, like I said, I hate social media. I think social media is kind of like the reason that the world has down. Like social media, I think, is what the problem was. I'm all about regulation of it further. I think it is the root of most causes right now. I think fake news. I think is a legitimate thing. I think it's been proven at this point. You can say whatever you want on Facebook, and everybody thinks they're the expert, right? And they have an absolute monopoly. There's no competition for them. So you know, I think you know to say those things that it's just it's something that just happened. It didn't just happen, but then unfortunately, there's one side that kind of owns that aspect of it. The old side is a bunch of you know conservative old men and women that aren't as hip with technology. I mean, it's been proven. You look at the spending on social media and stuff like that. So it didn't just happen. It's just that's the narrative we're being spoon fed right now, unfortunately. So I don't know. I heard them talking in the news yesterday. They were talking about how we really have four political parties now, right? There's four groups in politics that you need to appease, and I was like, four? I don't know about four, but they're saying that there's four political parties now. And I'm like, I guess. I'm hoping there's really actually that becomes more of a thing because we really need it. But gold again short, silver. I'm liking this level. I like the fact that we're basing right now. They're trying to support it a little bit. I'm kind of hoping it rallies back up to 24. I think that's a much better level to short from. We just bounced off the 2350, so again, psychological level. I have to say, I mean, I said it last week too. That 24 was on there for last week. I think 23 could be there this week. News wise, what do we have for the U.S. Right? Non U.S. and then looking for the week. I mean, advanced GDP numbers again. The price index, every reason to rise. PCE on Friday. Again, they're expecting it to be like, oh, look, it's controlled. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. So we'll see how these come in. So I think there's a couple different inflationary things this week that kind of gives us more dollar strength. I think 23 is on the, again, let's throw some text on it. Right. There's your 23 mark. I think we hit 23. Um, we actually have more than four. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do. Ernest, unfortunately, it's like I feel like Darwin's rolling over in his grave somewhere, right? Like yeah, there's a lot of dumb people, a lot of dumb people. Yeah, Neuro, there's more, but I mean, really, technically, I would say as far as like legitimate, I think there's only really three legitimate. There's a bunch of small ones, but you do legitimately have the three, right? I mean, but only two control it. Only two get things. But with the Republicans pulling out of the debate, I think that's absolutely great. um, because there was rules and things like that established around debate for only to the two parties. If the Republicans pull out from future debates, I think that's great. It gives the ability to have kind of a more equal footing as far as getting your voice out there for things. And I think that would be, I think the debates are stupid anyway. They're not talking about issues. It's like, how do I bash you and this and that. So I think I'm good with that. I wish we were like Canada, where it's like you have like 12, eight major parties. Um, Yeah, right. Briggs, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We're appealing to the lowest. Yeah, exactly, Briggs. All right, so let's go over in the indices, see what we had this morning again. Looks like they're mixed. NQ looks like it's taking a pop. Again, this is looks like Elon's gonna get Twitter, by the way. I'm very curious to see what happens with that. Um, yeah, looks like Elon's gonna get Twitter. Tesla, obviously, eh, Tesla's in a weird spot. And again, just so you guys know, part of Tesla's decline too is also, I mean, again, rising right now, but part of Tesla's going to have some issues right now, also with kind of the China link. But again, it's down from where it closed, but look what it's done since the open. It's been straight up. So let's see. VIX is still staying high. Looks like we're chopping back and forth. Let's drop it down to a 15-minute and check these candles. Let's see. Yeah, 9:15, 9:30 is right here. I would say it probably triggered a bit early, right? 9:30, 9:15. Yeah, it probably triggered a bit early on this one. Um, I don't know. It's down a little bit right now. I would say for today, yeah, I mean, I think, is it going to be a huge day? I mean, Friday we definitely called it. It was red, and we talked about it being red all day. And again, we talked about getting short below this level. We got the Harry Potter. We got the move down. Um, Overall, I would say that probably more. There's just really not enough news today to really drive this either way. It looks like the feeling is obviously negative. The fix is at 5.74. So again, there is some more volatility out there. It has had a pullback. Again, it looks like from 10 o'clock it's been trying again. It's a level of sellers. I wouldn't say it's an amazing level. Let's see if we run this all the way down. Yeah, it's not even, you know, really nothing super concerning. Let's go from last high to low here. Yeah, I mean, right now, if you go from kind of most recent, right, April 22nd at 8 to the open today, and again, this will be a popular draw. There'll be people that draw from here. There'll be people that draw from here because, again, is there a trend here? No. But the last downtrend, you're the 23.6 right now. So it does make sense for that short. And again, would you have taken this one at 9 o'clock for the open? It was at 9:15 is where it went off. Probably close enough. It was a basing level. It was, you know, from here, it was close enough to the 23.6 that you kind of had to respect it. It is the 23.6 now that we just bounced off of. You will have people taking this one short. So, I mean, yeah, an opening trade, probably, you had to get a little bit aggressive on it at 9:15 instead of 9:30. Again, it happens, right? Um, yeah, I mean, it happens. But I would say right now, yeah, I mean, I think this one goes farther down. Um, it's an okay pop here. I like those candles. Um, eh, eh, hmm. They're okay bumps. Um, I don't know. I think these are just more profit targets chipping. It looks like we really don't have much like major movement. So probably down here, 430, something like that. I don't know. It's all right. I don't really love anything in there. And again, these were all like, I mean, the 930 candle pops in here, so maybe I don't know, maybe this base in here, right? Maybe that's the downward target. Let's pull both these across. Yeah, that one's broken. You can see that was from that Harry Potter trade. So I don't need that one anymore. Yeah, it looks like, again, does it break through the low? Get some Globex traps in there? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we'll push all the way down to this level, right? 4190. Looks like we'll see 4190 today. So, NQ. There. This one looks like it didn't actually have any setup at all. It was not in his zone. It was just kind of meandering sideways. So it looks like nothing in there, right? So again, no setup on this one. Say kind of the same thing. I mean, we just tagged the 23.6. So every fib trader and their brother is going to be trying to short this thing right now, right? 1030, 23.6 pullback. It was an old level that was violated. I would say, you know, if I had to kind of draw where the level would be, again, that's the old violated level. I would say I like this level up here better, right? I like that one better. Again, we have a touch off of it. Um, 13, 13,491. Like that level better, right? Like that one better. But again, you're gonna have fib traders obviously step in for that one. Again, 1030 reversal from the opening push higher, 23.6. Basing level right there. It's definitely an area where people are going to be getting short. So wouldn't be surprised if that one comes down. This one has a decent test down here as well. I'd say profit target wise on the bottom. Look for this one to come down and tag 13,220 today. But like I said, I think 13,491 is a better level, but you're gonna have fib traders obviously helping you there. YM 930 was here. Yeah, not really in his zone. Um, Again, there would have been your basing level. We didn't quite get to it. It kind of grabbed this one, but that's kind of where your level would be, right? Let's see. Yeah, there've been no 23 on that one. Oops. Yeah, that's probably what you have people doing. Again, it's probably where the 23.6 turnaround came from. Again, it's a 23.6 now. When it was over here, it got close, and you can see that same level. So I'd say the same thing. Although there's some sellers right there, I would say that a decent level in this one would be um, what 33,671, right? Again, basing level got front run 23.6. People that are selling that have their stop on the other side will probably get run on it, but I think 33.6, 691. Um, Probably that group right there. Kind of same thing. Again, that's our downside target, 33,170. That could actually be it. You could actually take a roll off that, I think, if we get a confirmation entry. So not bad. And let's see Russell. Russell is the weakest, which it should be. This one kind of went in early. Kind of the same thinking of it, right? You had all this basing in here, right? You had all this basing. Hit it right at 9:15. So I would say of all of them, this one had the best kind of short. Whoops. Right there. There's your 1 to 3 exactly. So, and it tagged it. That would have been the only one. So it looks like at opening setups, at 9:15 is when you would have had to grab the ES. Looks like NQYM had no entries at 9:15, but Russell did have one, and actually it at 9:30. That's 9:15. Actually, the 9:30 and the nine. Actually, the 9:30. Yeah, the 9:30 came up and touched it as well. It's the second red candle here. So again, if you went in early, you were fine on this one at 9:15. At 9:30, if you hadn't gone in yet and you waited to 9:30, you still would have got entry because it came up and grabbed the zone and went down. It did tag its 1 to 3. You can see it stopped. It stopped painting it, and again, that's dead on 1 to 3 ratio. Um, so it looks like 2 for 4 as far as opening goes. Again, a little aggressive on 9:15. Not really anything too crazy. You should already be looking at that point. And then obviously one at 9:15 or 9:30 with Russell. So yeah, not a bad morning as far as those go. Obviously risk off scenario. Um, Crypto coming back a little bit, right? Still below 40,000. It's having some major problems here. And again, once the dollar starts coming more in swing, you should see some more movement here. Doji actually up pretty big, but again, that would be a parabolic move. Again, this is probably because Elon's taken over Twitter. It's like, oh, that's it. He's going to be all over Twitter. I'd say Doji's probably ready for a short. Bonds, nice little gap higher. And again, dollar strength. Dollar strength is bringing all, bonds are like, please buy us, please buy us, please buy us. Again, kind of a risk off day. Risk off day. And yeah, there's our dollar high. 101.73. Crazy. That's kind of a high amount, and we haven't even really started to raise the interest rates yet. So yeah, I think it's coming. I think it's gonna. I think this has the ability. Like I said, can we get to 102? That would be kind of crazy. I don't even know when the last time a 102 was. To be honest with you, 102. It's kind of a wick above 102. March of 2020. And then the last, and again, that was obviously COVID. March 2020 is where we locked everything down. I was like, holy crap, what do we do? And it was like flight to safety with the dollar, and we touched actually 103. But actual true when we were up this high, um, 2017, right? December 16, January 2017, September 2017. So beginning of 2017 is the last time the dollar was this high. So, and you can see when last time it was that high, it went all the way back down in the low 90s. So it's definitely an area where it becomes a problem. So we'll see. I'm interested. This is going to be a fun one to play. Like I said, I've never seen anything. Like I said, it's 40-year high inflation, so none of us have really seen anything this crazy and how they're going to control it. So I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. So it looks like we got 9 in, 13. We're a little bit over. I had to kind of wanted to kind of touch on some of that dollar CAD stuff. They're going to start talking in 9 minutes. We'll see how those turn out. So Marina won on Friday, right? Debbie won the day before that. We'll see if you know, see who can take it today. Winner of today's drawing is, look at that. How many did you have? Oh, you had two. You had two. You didn't go crazy with it. You had a 15% chance. Tired of all the first pagers. Yeah, Briggs, there's a ton of those out there. All right, let's give Ernest his 25 chips. I have to adjust the boy because I can definitely not feel my hand. It's like 15 pounds, but man, does he get heavy. All right, look at this. We got Neuro and Ernest within 70 chips of each other. So again, you get that 50 on Friday on Wednesday. The battle is starting to heat up there, right? Starting to heat up a little bit. All right. With that said, I'm out of here. Remember, tomorrow morning we'll just be on for Nadex at noon. Again, a lot of movement. I would expect some yen play to come back in. Again, inherently is the pound weak. Not really. Euro pound is there's they're -2. They're both kind of not doing a whole lot, right? It's kind of more flat. Dollar Swiss kind of also flat. Aussie obviously getting affected by China. Yen also getting affected by China, but it should all get baked in. So I'd look for a little bit more of a reversal tomorrow on things. So with that, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great trading day, and I'll catch you later.